Let me tell you something, sometimes the universe doesn't just knock. It hits you over the head with a 2x4 wrapped in fate and family secrets. And if you're lucky, you get a second chance you never saw coming. I learned that on a day that started like any other Seattle rain coming down hard enough to drown your worries. So you think when I stepped out of my Tesla, more focused on the million things I had to do than anything outside my carefully managed empire. You'd think after building a tech company from scratch, after landing a penthouse with a view, after ticking off every box society ever handed me, I'd feel like I'd arrived. But that's the thing, you know? Money can't fill the holes you don't want to look at. I was heading to my favorite coffee place, muttering about boardroom swill and quarterly projections, when I spotted them two little girls under a bookstore awning. Same wild copper hair, same solemn faces. But it wasn't just that they were twins, it was like looking through a window into my own past, straight into the eyes of the girl I'd spent 3 decades trying to forget, or maybe never could. "Spare change, mister?" one asked, her voice echoing a memory that nearly knocked me over. "For our mom's medicine," the other chimed in, clutching a teddy bear with only one eye. "My name's Maxwell, by the way, but that day I was nobody, just a man stuck in the rain, staring at ghosts made real." I asked where their mom was, and they told Mesh was in the hospital, cancer, the kind of sick that doesn't leave room for hope. I nearly lost it right there. "What's your mother's name?" I asked, even though my gut already knew. "Elizabeth," they said together. My knees just about buckled. Elizabeth Winters. The first girl I ever loved. The one who swore she'd wait for me until the letters stopped coming, until her parents said she'd left town without a trace. 30 years, and now her daughters were standing in front of me, spitting images of the heartbreak I'd never shaken. I told them I wanted to help, and, smart as they were, they wouldn't go anywhere with a stranger. So we called a cab, let them dial up someone at the hospital, and 20 minutes later, there I was outside her hospital room number 412, heart slamming in my chest. She looked different, of course, thinner, her copper hair faded and short. But it was her, no doubt. I managed to stammer to the doctor that I was an old friend, but got shut down, privacy laws, you know? "But the twins fill me in, 3 months left," the doctor said. 3 months. "Is that a long time?" they asked. God, what do you say to that? The doctor finally took me aside, said Elizabeth had stage 4 pancreatic cancer, already spread to her liver, nothing left to try. I started throwing money at the problem research wings, donations, whatever it took, but you can't bribe biology. "She's got weeks, maybe 3 months. The worst part? No family. No one but those girls." When I finally got to see her, it was like the years melted away, even if her voice was barely more than a whisper. "Lizzie," I said, and her eyelids fluttered open. "Am I dreaming?" she asked. "No, I'm really here." And that was it. The dam broke, she said. She wrote me letters, dozens, but thought I'd moved on when I never wrote back. Turns out, my parents told her I'd wanted a clean break. Her folks told me she'd left town. The classic star-crossed tragedy, engineered by the people who thought they knew better. But then came the gut punch. Had a daughter, Charlotte. And Charlotte? She was mine. I'd had a daughter I never met, and now the twins Lucy and Lily were Charlotte's girls. Elizabeth raised her alone, while I went off thinking she'd abandoned me. Talk about wasted years. The board kept blowing up my phone, my mother demanding to know where I was, but none of it mattered. I promised Elizabeth I'd take care of the girls. She tried to protest, but I wasn't budging. I meant it. That was the first time I realized fate wasn't done with me yet. But nothing is ever simple, is it? Enter Child Protective Services, paperwork, DNA tests, court dates, bureaucracy. Love's a tragedy. I had to fight for the right to even see them, let alone take them home. Foster care loomed, and every minute Elizabeth was slipping further away. I called in every favor, promised every donation, but all they saw was a workaholic billionaire with 0 parenting experience and a family history full of gaps. They said it would take months, but Elizabeth didn't have months. Somehow, I made it work. Maybe money talks louder than I realized. Maybe the universe was cutting me some slack for once, but I got emergency guardianship just in time. That night, I brought Lucy and Lily back to the penthouse. You ever look around your house and see it for what it really is? A monument to loneliness. All glass, steel, and empty rooms. They stood there, clutching their backpacks, not sure if they could touch anything, eat anything, or even sit down. I ordered pizza seemed like the right calend. We all camped out in the guest room. Elizabeth held on long enough to see them safe. Her last words to me, after years of stolen chances and misconnections, were simple. Finish Charlotte's work. Protect the girls. Don't let Margaret me, mother, take them too. And then she was gone. You'd think the worst was over, but that's when my mother made her move. Tried to get custody herself, argued that the girls needed stability, tradition, the whole 9 yards. I saw right through it. She'd stolen 30 years from me, kept my daughter from knowing her father, and now wanted to steal my granddaughters too. But I learned my lesson. I fought back, harder than I'd ever fought for any business deal, and this time I won. The twins stayed with me, and with every court appearance, every late-night call to my attorneys, I started to figure out what family actually means. Then came the twist I didn't see coming while cleaning out Elizabeth's storage unit. I found Charlotte's research. She'd built an AI system that could detect cancers like Elizabeth's years before any doctor could. She tried to get funding, tried to partner with my company, but got stonewalled by the very people my mother had hired. Her emails, her applications intercepted, ignored, buried. And when I dug deeper, I uncovered something darker. Margaret, along with my company's head of cybersecurity, had been selling trade secrets for years. Charlotte found out and died 3 days after confronting my mother about it. Now, maybe it was just a terrible accident, but when the same hands that engineered so much pain keep showing up in the wreckage, you start to wonder. My mother didn't just want my company. She wanted to erase every trace of the family she never approved of. But this time I was ready. At the next board meeting, I laid everything out: letters, research, security footage, the whole sordid mess. The FBI came for Margaret right then and there. She tried to talk her way out of it, but no amount of power or money could save her from the truth. 6 months later, the company is thriving. The merger's done, and Neurosoft division built on Charlotte's genius has already started saving lives. The twins have adjusted Lucy's a whiz at math. Lily writes stories that would make her mother proud. My penthouse is full of laughter, new furniture, and child-proof locks. Sometimes late at night, I look at their faces and wonder what kind of man I could have been had I known about Charlotte, had I raised her. But regret's a liar. It keeps you chained to what's lost. I've got these girls now, and together we're building something real. People say you can't choose your family, but you can choose what kind of family you become. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that love isn't about blood or DNA or even time. It's about showing up, choosing them every day, no matter how messy or late it is. That's what Elizabeth wanted for me. That's what Charlotte deserved. That's what I owe to Lucy and Lily. So here's the question, and I mean it: when everything you believed about your past turns out to be a lie, when family hurts you in ways strangers never could, how do you start again? What would you do if fate handed you a second chance you never asked for? Would you take it, or would you let the old wounds win? I made my choice. Drop your thoughts below. What's justice? What's forgiveness? And what would you do for a family you never knew you had?